guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for December 19th, 2021. So it has been a long, stressful week. Just, again, work is in transition. I mean, I'm doing my job, but who knows how my job will change in the future, as we've talked about. I did get a few answers about certain things, but they're not related to my job, just the computer system we're going to. And we were kind of told we're not going to get any training on it until after everything's hooked up, which will be on the 3rd when we make the full transition. Wow, I am kind of a little scared. I'm not sure how I'm going to plan things for that time period between the time we switch systems and we lose the old system to when we learn how to use the new system. I've been through, I would say, 4 transitions. Now, 1 or 2 of those were easy ones. They were the same kind of system, so we were just transferring data. They just had to change a few things. But the last 3 I've gone through, like I would say the last 3 were kind of significant, but all of them gave us time before the the actual transition time. And wow, I don't know how this is going to go. Anyway, Anyway, that's where my stress is, because now I'm trying to think how I'm going to deal with that first week of January without really a computer system to work. Anyway, figure it out. I have a few more days before I have to worry about that, right? Beyond that, not much else. I keep thinking, oh, it was a really, one day we had ice on the way to work, and of course nothing shut down because I don't think anybody was ready for it here in Portland. Usually when there's ice and snow, it's not good. There actually was a little dusting out west of me this morning. I guess some of the cars out here I didn't notice it when I went to get coffee until I saw cars with snow on it, but it wasn't a lot. But on Tuesday, I think it was, I pulled out of my driveway and I'm like, oh, there's snow. Or is it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember which day it was. Anyway, it was horrible driving. Again, I do love my new car in the way that it's an all-wheel drive, and it's much better than my last car was, because it was a front wheel. And it was such a difference to deal with the ice. I mean, it still was stressful. It was like the worst drive I had in a year. It was horrible. Anyway, beyond that, I'm just chit-chatty right this morning. I'm really not awake. I don't know. So we'll see. Anyway, so let's talk about books. That's kind of what we're here for, right? So let's talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. Because that is always up in the air. Because again, my reading is starting to really shift, and I can feel it, and I really am trying to clear the decks and clear everything before the end of the year. It's not going to happen. I still have all those books on hold that I put on hold that I have been on my currently reading all year, and I moved a lot of those off, and I'm so glad I did, because that stress has gone. And really only one of those books right now is calling to me that I want to read, that I want to bring back. So that kind of tells you that I just wasn't ready for those books. And so again, I'm not getting rid of those yet, but there are books that I want to read in the next 2 weeks, but I'm just not sure what my mood's going to feel like here, even like after I finish this. So let's just talk about the books again that I finished. I did listen to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I do this every year now because I follow Dickens December on Instagram. And even though the other 2 books that I was supposed to read for this year, Dickens December did not work for me. But again, this week we were supposed to read A Christmas Carol again, which I really enjoy. I listened to it on audio on Monday. I think I listened to the whole thing because it's not very long. I listened to the version on Audible Plus that was by Hugh Grant. So again, every year I try to switch it up. Again, I've listened to at least 3 or 4 different ones. And again, his was fair, but it doesn't sound like Hugh Grant to me, so I don't know what that was about. I think maybe putting it at the 1.5 speed, I can't really tell, but it was done really well. He did a good job. So, but it was free, so I just listened to it. Anyway, so I love A Christmas Carol. It is my favorite Dickens story. Because again, it's classic. I mean, it's just, there's so much in here, and every time I read it, there's a few lines that I didn't remember from last time, and it's just, I feel like reading it every year is my one kind of Christmas tradition. I'm not a Scrooge or a humbug kind of thing. It's just I don't like to deal with Christmas until like the week of Christmas. And my coworkers make fun of me because they play Christmas music and I hate it. Because I go, we should not be listening to Christmas music until like the day or two before. So I'm considered the Scrooge. Anyway, I just put my headphones on. I didn't want to tell them I was listening to this when I did that, but that's fine. Funny. Anyway, I really enjoy this. Again, everybody knows the classic, so I'm not going to go into it, but just, I really enjoyed my reread. As I said, I've reread it the last, like the last 3 years I've listened to an audiobook of it, and it's been, I really, really enjoyed that. And then this week, Tia and All the Books and I, we read the last book in the Kate Daniels main series. This is book 10 of that series. It's Magic Triumphs. And so we have finished the Kate Daniels arc of this story. This is awesome. Again, we started reading it earlier this year, and then we've just been trying to get done before the end of the year. So this was this week's book. This, I think, was a really good finale to the series. And I'm pretty happy with most of it. Again, it was not perfect, but it still made me emotional enough that I gave it a 5 stars. It was just, it was probably a low 5 stars, but it was enough. Like, it was just enough. So again, this is a urban fantasy, post-apocalyptic world, kind of where magic has come back into the world. So it's wreak havoc. And so we're looking at Atlanta, Georgia, and the people who live there. And in the first book, Kate is a mercenary, and in a world where the magic ebbs and flows. So when the magic is up, magic users are kind of ruling, and then there's Masters of the Dead and then vampires, and there's also shifters, and so magic is high, but then when the magic ebbs, so when it goes down, then all the technology works that is from our, like our world kind of thing. So it was, this series is one of those ones that builds on all the characters. There's many stories and novellas and extra books that kind of offshoot from this. So we've tried to hit all of them as we went. We have one more book to read, Blood Heir, which is a continuation that happens years after this happened, which follows another character, and hopefully more than just the one. But she's the lead that's from this series, but it's her series, her books. So really, I've really enjoyed this overall. I mean, there's certain books. This is not my favorite book. I think it still ends pretty well. I think number 6, Magic Rises? I think that was still my favorite. The one where they went to Europe. Anyway, that's still my favorite one. Anyway, I think so many things happened in that book. I think that was a book. Oh, now I've gotten them mixed up. Doesn't matter. I really enjoyed this overall. I'm so glad I read this series. And then again, we're almost done. I just have one more book, and we're going to read that in the last week of December, so that we finish it out before the end of the year. So I am very happy that we've made it to this end, and that we're almost done. As I said, it's been a great experience, and I really enjoyed reading with Tia to make myself read the series faster than I probably would have at certain points. Some points I think I would have probably binged a few more, like really close, but I think we spaced it out just enough that I never got to that point where I was like, oh, I have to read another one. I was actually excited to pick one up every time. So I think that worked out really well. As I said, I really recommend this as an urban fantasy. I think there's great story arcs for almost all the characters. They do really good at redemption arcs, which I was not expecting in here for most of the series. So I think it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It has all the action, adventure, and friendship, found families, and it was so much stuff in this. It's a good one. I see why everybody has been telling me to read it, and I'm sorry that the first book just didn't do it for me, but I'm glad I came back to it, and I read it this year. So again, I have one more book, and when we are through that series, and then I know it's a series I will pick up and reread. Now I might not read the first book ever all the way through again. But the books after that, I'll probably reread. So we'll see. Maybe in a year or two, I will pick up the whole series and read it again. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll pick up every short story. I don't know. There's so much. It was like a huge, they've built such a world for that. So if you want a really huge series of books that are just interconnected and just follow, oh, it's just such a good story. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. Then the book I was reading kind of alongside that, when I'd finished my pages for the day, I would read this, is Winter's Orbit by Evarina Maxwell. I think I'd started it last week. So this is a really light sci-fi romance that with mystery. So we're following two characters who are forced to get married for the purpose of a treaty, to be the representatives for them, to be from two different planets or colonies, and they have to they're supposed to be married to be kind of that, to show that they're committed to each other kind of thing. And one of them was married to somebody else, but they were killed a month before the story starts in a what is considered an accident, but we're not quite sure that that's what it is at the beginning. And then again, so there's a lot of stuff, political stuff going on here, but it's very political, like it's light. It's not, this is a very fun book. Like, I mean, it just wasn't as deep as maybe a lot of other fantasies or sci-fis that I've read that dealt with this kind of thing. I think that this was just more of a very good crossover for people who don't read a lot of sci-fi but want their romance. I think it was a really good male-male romance. Again, I've read a couple in the last couple weeks, which was kind of funny. And this one I really enjoyed. I did like one of the guys better than the other one. I think it was just a personality thing. But I still cared about what happened to them and what happened, and learning the mystery of how all the stuff that kind of happened, or why things were happening the way they were. And it was just really cute. They had a little adventure when something goes wrong, and that was when they finally talked about stuff that they hadn't, and again, so it was like, it was really cute. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to say it was perfect. It wasn't like the best, but it was a really light read, and I really enjoyed it. So I did read that. And then yesterday, I finally picked up the Hummingbird's Gift, Wonder, Beauty, and Renewal on Wings by Cy Montgomery. So I like to read at least one Cy Montgomery every year, and I hadn't really got around to that this year, I don't think. So I won this in a Goodreads giveaway earlier this year. It took 4 or 5 months for me to get it after I won. And so but then I was going to pick it up in November, and I just didn't get to it. The one day I picked it up, I wasn't feeling it. It's only about 80 pages. It's really short and sweet about she goes and meets a friend of hers who helps rescued hummingbirds, usually babies, and help them try to survive so then they can release them back into the wild. And I learned a lot about hummingbirds that I did not know. I was really so it's only 80 pages, and there's a lot of there's some really pretty pictures of some hummingbirds. So it's really, really pretty book. There's not a huge amount of pictures, but it's talking about those two hummingbirds and how they, as I said, raised them so that they could leave, and the things that hummingbirds that they can do, and the differences between them and some other birds, and how to take care of them and stuff. It was really, it was just interesting. It makes me, want to learn more about hummingbirds. What's really funny is that I forgot I had found this just the other day, is that I'd gotten a hummingbirds book because I planted Sylvia outside. And I have gotten a few hummingbirds over the years. I don't think I planted enough. And after reading this, I definitely want to plant more next year when I put this together. So I'm not sure if I'm going to read this. Oh, and I drop it. Sorry. Oh, I can't reach it. Never mind, I dropped it. But the other book I might read as well at some point, but it's just like little pictures. Anyway, but this was really cute, and I did finally read it after winning it. Because again, I think I've only won 2 Goodreads giveaways ever. And this was the second one, and I'm really glad I read this. So that was good there. So those are what I finished. I am thinking about putting this on hold for right now. I've only read 22 pages. And as much as this is the Christmas season, and this is a Christmas collection of novellas, I'm not sure I'm in the mood for this, so I'm not putting it on hold yet. It's definitely a book I want to read sometime. I was trying to read it because I just bought it, blah, blah, you know. I was trying to be good. But I'm not sure I'm in the mood for it. And I don't know if it's because of what's happening in the first 20-some pages. I don't know. Because the first story has to do with a woman who's, so again, I don't know if it's Victorian or Regency, but her father is gambling away their fortune and she needs to go into a gambling hall to get him out, and she is not allowed in because she's female. So the part where I stopped is 22 pages in, is that she's disguised herself as a man to go in, and I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. As I said, it's more of mood, like right now my mood reading. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick this up or not. Maybe in the next day or so I'll want to pick up a romance and I'll just dive into this. But I don't know. So right now I'm not sure. I still like to read it this year. And Lindsay Sands is an author I really like. Mostly from her Argonaut Vampire series, but also some of her historicals that I've read. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I didn't have that cover, but I am still reading Brothers of the Wind by Tad Williams. This is the prequel novella to the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn and the Last King of Ostenard series. I did make progress this week, not as much as I was hoping. I made it to 110, so I still have 100 and, what's that, 100, I think I have 150. Yeah. This book, it's really weird because I love Tad Williams' writing and I love this world. This book is not going in the directions I thought it would. So I think that's part of the problem. It's pretty dense for one of his stories. There's not as much dialogue. I mean, there is dialogue, but it's just not as much as I thought it would be. Again, we're learning a lot and I like that. It's just, I don't know if I'm in the mood for that, which is really bad. So, but I definitely want to finish this before the end of the year because, as I said, I bought it this year new. I do want to read that. So, hopefully I will finish it up in the next week or two. So that I have 150 pages, and I figure if I read, 10 to 12 pages a day, I will finish it. So, we'll keep trying. And again, it's epic fantasy. And then, I don't know what I'm going to read beyond that. Like, probably going to read at least a little bit of Brothers of the Wind today. I'm not positive. I haven't picked up any of my audiobooks for at least 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll pick them up. I don't know if I will. You go through moods. Like, I listened to A Christmas Carol that one day, and then I didn't pick up an audiobook again after that. So, I don't know. I mean, as I said, I ebb and flow with audiobooks. I'd like to finish those by the end of the year, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm not worried about end of the year stuff. I like to clear the decks, as I said, but again, as I said, if I can just get through most of the stuff, then I'm not like I have to have everything done, because that would stress me out. And I'm already, as I said, I've gotten to the point where I can't deal with that right now. So I do have one library book that I might read, which is Jekyll and Hyde, Inc. by Simon R. Green, again, one of my favorite authors. So this is a new series about a cop who gets injured on the job by monsters, but nobody believes him. And so he, I don't know, I haven't figured out if he gets let go or he quits. And then he is offered a job at this Jekyll and Hyde Inc. that fight the other monsters. So I think that they take the potion from Dr. Jekyll to become Hyde's. I'm not sure, but that's what it sounds like. So it's not very long. It's about, 220 pages. So I might pick this up this week or next week. I have it for those 2 weeks before it's due back to the library. So, but this is one I'd like to pick up at some point if I'm in the mood. We'll see. I'd also like to finish my reread of Crusade by Taylor Anderson, which is the second book in the Destroyer Man series. This is historical, oh wait, what am I going to say? No, alternate timeline historical where World War II destroyers are sucked into a different world in the Java Sea, and then what happens with the creatures and things they meet in a world where it's like the same map of where everything is, but the creatures have developed differently, and there are other humanoids that are, running the planet kind of thing. And then again, it's just the best ensemble cast ever. Anyway, the point is I still need to reread this one. and 2 more before I can catch it. So then I'll be caught up to where I stopped reading it a couple of years ago, and then I can start reading the series, this 15-book series. That's complete. I would really like to get back into this. As I said, this book, I think I paused it earlier this year. I got 90 pages in, only because I know there's a scene coming that I hate. Not because of the way he wrote it or anything, and he writes it very respectfully. It's just, it's a hard scene to read, and I know it's coming. And so I just need to read this. I do want to continue on and finish my reread so that I can start reading the new books. So again, as I said, I'm trying to intersperse this with another series. I read one and then I'll reread the other one, because I'm trying to get to both those series to get finished. And again, next year, focus on series. So getting serious about series, which Lizzie Faye Loves Books is doing. So I do want to try to finish this year, but again, doesn't have to be. It's reread. And then the 2 books that I really, really love to finish before the end of the year. These are both books that I did not put back on hold, because I want to give them both another shot. The first one is another fantasy, which is why I was trying to finish The Brothers of the Wind, which is Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozlov. So this one I made it 160 pages in, and it plateaued for me a little bit there, and I think just at the time I didn't push through, and I think if I had pushed through I would have been fine. So this is one of those books where I'm not sure if I have to reread all 160 pages again, or if I can skim it and get most of it again. I'm not sure. I just can't start it again right where I was at. I think I need to read a few of the details behind. So again, it's a 4-book series called The 9 Realms, and we're following the queen and her daughter, and I think the queen's husband is off on a trip and stuff, and things are starting to go wrong at the castle, and then it's kind of the fallout from certain things that are happening and some people who want to be in power instead of her. And then so again, we're following both of them. So anyway, I would like to read this. I have actually the second book on my shelf. I was enjoying it. There was one part I didn't really like, but as I said, I think I would like to dive back into that one, but I'm not sure. I think I need to get Brothers of the Wind done before I can do that. And then the other book is the book that I have been trying to get myself to pick up all year, and that is the Vicom de Bruegelion by Alexander Dumas. This is translated by David Coward. This is the 3rd book in the D'Artagnan romances. I do not know why I cannot make myself pick this book up this year. This book, all year I've been meaning to read it. I started it last year about this time, and I expected to finish it in January. I got 160 pages in, another 160 pages, and then it was just, I was like, what is going on? And I think I just got frustrated, and I didn't get back to it. And then later I found out, when I kind of looked at it, if I had read 20 more pages, it changes perspective, and I would have been fine. Point is that now I've lost a lot of what I read last year. It's been a year. So I really think this one I do have to restart, which sucks. But again, this is again following the Three Musketeers and D'Artagnan many years later. This is after 20 years later, like another, I don't know if it's another 10 years, but it's another set of time. It might be, well, it could be close to that. I can't remember now for sure. I think it was 1660s. I think it's another like 10 or so years, but I'm not positive. And we're following D'Artagnan, who is still working for what king is. I don't remember Louis the 14th. So he is working for him, and things happen, and then he makes a decision that changes his life. And also we see things that are, there's a lot of history stuff in here. I think he packs it in. I don't know if all of it's true, but it's fun. I wish I had pushed through in January, but I did not. So anyway, this is a book I really want to read, or at least I want to get back into it before the end of the year. Because again, my goal is to finish this series, and I'm still book 3. So this is what I really want to pick up today, because I was really hoping to dive into this during this week. I mean, I have to work Monday and Tuesday, and then I have off Wednesday through Monday. I took a couple of days plus what we get for work. So I have 5 days off. And again, a couple of those days are holiday stuff, so I won't get a lot of reading done. But I was hoping this week I could get into this. So it matters how today goes. I might read this. I might read this. Or I might pick up these. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of it. Let's see here real quick. I did update my board while you, because I forgot, I think last week or whatever, it was too distracting. So, what did I read? So, I know I read another, I'm going to count the Kate Daniels still as a continue because technically I have the one more book in the whole world. So I'm not going to count it as a finish yet. I know that seems kind of weird, but that's how I feel about it. I did read a classic because I reread A Christmas Carol. I don't get to count my sci-fi. Oh, I did count one nonfiction for The Hummingbird. So anyway, this is kind of a weird month. But anyway, I am debating about using this again next year. I don't know if you guys like this or not. Maybe I won't. I mean, again, it's kind of just a visual of what I'm trying to hit. I mean, again, I'm going to change up some of my prompts of certain things I want to work on. Oh yeah, that's Cooper. Anyway, but we'll see. I don't know. You have to let me know if you want me to keep this or not, because I will be putting up my goals video probably this week. And then I have several videos about certain aspects of the goals that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to start filming those. And I got lists going out my ears of stuff I want to do. Because again, there's certain things I want to focus on next year. But I want them to be broad enough that I'm not forcing myself to do a lot, do those things. So, or a lot of things. I'm not sure I'm making sense. Anyway, so that is my weekly update. How is your guys' reading doing? Are you guys like trying to finish things up before the end of the year? Are you guys struggling with anything with that reading? Anyway, that's kind of it. I don't know what I'm going to read later. So as I said, I got so many options and so many things to do. So that's going to be it. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, and if I don't talk to you and remember, have a happy holiday.